Good afternoon and welcome to Mrs. June Legal's Time Management and Delegation webinar. Today we're going to talk about taming the clock, effective time management and delegation strategies. So for those that don't know, I am Randa Prendergast. I am the attorney whisperer at Mrs. June Legal. I have over 15 years of experience in the legal field, working with solo and small law firm owners, focusing on policies and procedures, workflows, time management, and helping law firm owners add legal support on a 1099 basis. So this is going to be a relaxed environment. Please feel free to ask any questions during the presentation. You can simply put them in the chat. I want to make sure you get as much out of this as possible. So if you see me looking to the right, I'm just looking at the chat box to make sure I'm answering any of your questions. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, let's get started. So we are first going to talk about the pain points surrounding time management and delegation. A lot of law firms I work with have the following things in common: the lack of knowledge on how to manage their time and delegating to others. It's common problems that I see. Usually they don't have any clear deadlines for their self or their staff. And a lot of times the attorney and their team are operating reactively versus proactively. So they're only focused on the fires and there's no room to set priority for other tasks. Another common problem is overlapping in business and personal time. Law firm owners are working around the clock on their time off. And I have plenty of client examples of this when I'm consulting with them. Here are just a few very real examples, that things that I hear that make it clear to me that there's a lack in time management and delegation. Let me know in the chat or by speaking up if you've ever said any of these things or thought similar things. I've had people say to me, Randa, I have people continuously following up with me to ask about projects and tasks. And a lot of times this are other staff members or team members, their coaches, or even clients. Staff always need to follow up on projects so they know how to move forward or to make sure that we're meeting a deadline. I've heard law firm owners have follow-ups from coaches who they pay a lot of good money for. Coaches are continuously asking them, hey, have you completed your call to action items that we talked about last week or last month? And I think this one is actually the worst, is when you have an anxious or a zealous client reaching out to you about the next step in their case. It's clear when a client says to me, we don't miss deadlines, but it's always last minute, that they are operating in a reactive stage instead of a proactive stage. Like I stated, when you're always reactive, you can't properly prioritize other tasks. Other examples from clients is law firm owners using their evenings and their weekends to work. So many times I hear I'm drafting or I'm working on the firm items during the evenings on the weekends, so I have uninterrupted time. Let's talk about some of the key benefits around effective time management and delegation. Effective time management and delegation helps law firms maximize productivity, allowing them to handle more cases in a shorter amount of time, which results in shorter case life cycles. Effective time management and delegation helps reduce stress levels in a law firm and allows everyone to focus on the work that needs to be done. Law firms can prioritize tasks and allocate the right people and resources to the right place at the right times, leading to better results. And effective time management and delegation also allows you more free time to focus on more important business goals, such as finding new clients or expanding into new markets. So let's first talk about time management. we've all heard this. We need to manage our time wisely. We've been told this, but what does that look like and how do we do that? Time management can help small businesses optimize their resources and maximize their productivity, and also create a better work-life balance for business owners, allowing them to focus on both work and personal tasks without feeling overwhelmed or overstressed. I'm sure some of you feel overwhelmed and overstressed at some point running your business, and then also managing your personal tasks. We want to set clear deadlines and goals. Having clear deadlines and expectations for projects can ensure that the tasks are completed quickly and efficiently, and leading to better client and team satisfaction in the long run. Time management also helps you plan ahead to avoid last-minute stress and mistakes. We're going to talk about using internal working blocks to effectively manage your time. Effective time management allows you better to prioritize tasks so you can focus on the most important things first. And using a scheduler like Calendly helps identify when you have that time to complete those tasks. So I'm actually going to share my screen and show you guys my personal Calendly event types. I am going to show you how I use them and how they can be helpful to you. So I use Calendly to identify working blocks so I can get specific things done by a certain time. I also use Calendly for my personal time management when I need to schedule kids' appointments or dinner out with friends or family. And I also utilize Calendly to identify maybe pockets of time that I can take time off away from the business. So if you have something like Calendly, it's very helpful. They don't have a limit on how many event types that you can have. So we can create as many event types or what I like to call internal working blocks as we want. So give me 1 second and I'm going to share my screen and show you my Calendly and talk a little bit about how to use these working blocks. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Let's see how this works. Okay, can you guys see the Calendly screen? Hopefully. So this is my personal Calendly, and I have these internal working blocks set up, and I have set them that they're hidden from my main Calendly page, so no one can have access to schedule here. And you can utilize this a couple different ways. So if I have a task that I know is only going to take me 15 minutes, then I can use the internal working block for 15 minutes. And I have a couple different ones set up. I have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 2 hours. So first, if I know that I need to schedule a working block or an appointment, I want to identify how long it's going to potentially take me. And then I can just simply click on the view booking page and it will bring up my scanner calendar. Oops. So this is a good way to identify quickly that I do have pockets of time. I also use this when I tell myself I don't have enough time to work out. I go to my internal blocks and I'm like, oh, I have 30 minutes here and I have 30 minutes here. So it allows me not to lie to myself that I don't have availability to work on my health. Scheduling here, you can actually click on the time that you want and fill in the details here if you'd like, or you simply can just go to your calendar and put that working block on there or your appointment on there. If it's a working block, sometimes I like to be specific here and schedule it through Calendly. If it's just an appointment for my child or for myself, I'll most likely just go to my calendar and add it right there. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about utilizing Calendly to manage your time effectively and not just setting appointments for your law firm? No? Okay. So you can also manage your time better by optimizing your workflow. This increases productivity and efficiency of administrative and client tasks and other processes. It also helps to reduce costs and incidents of errors and time spent completing tasks. Okay. Let's dive into the importance of delegation and understanding what tasks to delegate. Effective delegation allows attorneys to focus on core competencies and delegate tasks that can be completed faster by someone else. By delegating tasks to team members, you can free up your time to focus on big picture goals of your business. We want to identify who will do what tasks. Having a clear understanding of each team member's roles and responsibilities can help ensure that tasks are completed efficiently and accurately. And don't worry, if you don't currently have team members, if you're a true solo, that is completely okay. We still creating an effective delegation system. Delegating tasks to team members is an effective way to share the workload and ensure tasks are completed in a timely manner. By delegating and managing tasks in an organized manner, team members can become more productive and better able to contribute to the success of the business. Remember, your law firm is a business. So we have talked about the importance of delegation, the importance of time management, but let's create an action plan so we know exactly how we're going to move forward and implement better time management and delegation. So first, we want to break down big goals into manageable steps. And I'm sure you guys have all heard of SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. And we're going to talk about what that means. Specific, we want to be specific on what do we want to accomplish and who is going to be involved for these goals. We want our goals to be measurable. So a measurable goal should address such things as how and when it's going to be accomplished. And that kind of goes back to our time management and identifying when things will be done. Achievable would usually answer the question of how can I accomplish this goal and how realistic is this goal based on the constraints such as financial factors and bandwidth of your team. We also want our SMART goals to be realistic. You may have heard the word relevant, but here we're going to use the word realistic. Is the goal realistic based on what is currently going on? And we're going to break down the steps into small, realistic tasks. We also want our goal to be timely. It's a time-bound goal will usually answer when. Usually using those working blocks for a task will identify the timeline of the task and overall show us the completion date of this goal. Now let's go back to using working blocks for specific for time management. So when we're using a working block, we want to be specific in the agenda items and this will help us implement more effective time management. So you may currently have on your calendar a general block of time where you want to work on your business or you want to work on cases. I want you to take that a step further, and I want you to add an agenda item for that specific working block and have a specific call to action. So for example, if you have a motion that you need to draft for a matter, you should create a working block, and in that agenda or description of that event, you should say specifically what you're doing. Draft motion for Smith versus Adams matter. You can add another layer of effective time management and delegation by also creating a task somewhere. If you have a case management software or a project management software, or wherever you're tracking your tasks. So not only do you have that working block that you and your team members can see, but you also have a task associated with it. In your working blocks too, you can also group similar small tasks together. So if you have, for example, a lot of drafted documents that you have to review, that would be a good time to put them all together as reviewing draft documents. I don't want you to just leave the description as reviewing draft documents. I also want you to list out which matters or what documents you're going to be reviewing. So if you have to review that motion that was drafted, then I want you to put review drafted motion on Smith and Adams matter. Again, if you have an associated task with it, I would also move your task to that specific date. So for creating, for delegation, the first thing that you should do to recognize items that can be delegated is to create a list of all the tasks in your law firm. This list should be for tasks that are business and law firm related, like that are internal to the law firm, and then also case tasks. This will help you identify who can complete the task. And we want to make sure that we are identifying by the role that person has and not the person's name. This will also help identify how much work each person would have. So if you're a true solo and you don't have team members at this time, that's completely fine. I still would like you to list out all of your tasks so we can start identifying, yes, your name is there that you complete all of them, but who can actually complete those tasks for you in the future? Some examples of different roles within your law firm, a legal admin, an executive assistant to help you with any of those firm related internal tasks, a paralegal, another associate. There is maybe it's someone in accounting, or maybe it's your bookkeeper. There's all different types of roles within your law firm, and you may not be able to identify those on your own currently because you are wearing all of those hats. So kind of think outside the box of who would I hire to complete this role that's not me. Another way to effectively manage your time and also delegate is to start matter review meetings. You should be holding a weekly meeting that is non-negotiable to your team. Like everyone needs to attend. And if a conflict comes up, then the meeting needs to be rescheduled. It's not a really good idea to schedule this weekly meeting on a Monday because federal holidays tend to be observed on Mondays, and sometimes it's just hard to reschedule in a shorter week. So I recommend either a Friday or a Tuesday. Meetings should not be any longer than an hour, and we're going to discuss here in a moment what should be included in those meetings and why. So to hold your meeting, your matter review meetings to 1 hour, these are the things you should discuss. We should be talking about due dates on tasks. Not only should we talk about when the task is due, like the deadline for the task, but we also want to identify when we want to complete the task, the DO date of the task. When do we want to do the task? We also can have the opportunity to then identify and prioritize those tasks based on those deadlines. We also want to make sure we're identifying who will be completing those tasks. If we're not clear on who, it's very possible that your team members will just assume someone else will take care of it. So we want to be very specific on who will be completing the task. We want to avoid how to complete this task, talking about how to complete a task in this meeting. We want to keep this meeting to 1 hour long. So if there's any confusion on how to complete a task, what I would like you to do is schedule that one-on-one with that individual who's going to be completing that task. And so you can give them that direct instruction or direction during that time, and you're not taking up the time from your other team members. And a good tip is schedule this meeting during your lunch and make it a working meeting so you can create a write-off for your law firm. If it is a working meeting, you are able to write off that lunch for them. And I think that providing lunch to your team makes them more relaxed and eager to help out. One way we can help with your time management and delegation is using technology. And I'm sure you guys see technology all over the place, especially legal tech specific to law firms. But technology can help systemize your process. It can help automate tasks, eliminate redundant tasks, and then also using a scheduler like we talked about avoids double booking, and it creates or accurately identifies your availability for you and your team members. I would suggest, if you don't have software, that you consider looking into specific software, a calendar, a scheduler like Calendly, a project or task management system of some sort, and making sure also that you have internal communication means that is not email. We want to avoid using email because we don't want to bog down your email and have something of importance get lost either from the court or the client. So having a different platform to internally communicate with your team is going to be best, especially if you are working remotely with your team. So the recommended software, I happen to love Google Calendar, but you can use Google Calendar or Outlook. Calendly seems to me to be the front runner for scheduling. Not only do they allow multiple or endless event types, it's really good for your team if they're going to be on Calendly too. You have like a Red Robin style option if you have multiple people doing different or the same type of meetings. They also offer workflows and automation follow-ups, which is really nice, and the ability also to have questions answered or to gather some information from the person who's scheduling up front. So that also helps with time management. You're gathering information at the beginning. Case management software for law firms, specifically Clio or MyCase. Most of you know I'm a big Clio fan for various reasons. I think MyCase is just as good. And if you don't want to use a case management software specifically to law firms, Asana has been really great. We use this for Mrs. June Legal specifically, and they do offer automations there too. For internal communications, there's a couple different ones that I recommend. If you're using Google, utilizing the Google Chat is really nice. Slack is also really nice because you can make kind of different groups of conversations. And then also, I am a big fan, if you're using Zoom for your phones or for your team, utilizing Zoom Chat. Also, there you can also create different conversations. As all of them, you can create different conversations, but and it's really nice to break them down by team members. So if you have conversations just with your paralegals, or if you have conversations with the entire team, or just for a specific case, you can put all of that there. Okay. So our main takeaways is by breaking down tasks and projects and processes into smaller, you can break them down into smaller manageable steps. It helps identify where to delegate, and you can maximize your efficiency and productivity. Remember, we want to delegate by the role. So even if you are the person wearing all the hats or some of the hats, we still want to identify who can do this task in the future. Utilizing a scheduler can help identify working blocks for business and personal time. And using working blocks help you and your team members understand when a task will be completed and when and how to move forward. I want to go back and touch base regarding the delegation a little bit more. It is really helpful if you are utilizing a project management or case management tool to really look into putting your processes and workflows in that software. This will help with your time, so you don't have to delegate to your team members every week, but instead your systems are auto delegating for you. And if you needed help in any way to figure out A, what tasks need to be delegated, or B, how to break down your processes, I'm more than happy to meet with you and talk about that. You just want to make sure that once you identify the task to be delegated, that you are also taking it a step further and identifying how to do a task. That will also assist in your time management and delegation. If you're able to give the information to the person within the task, within that process, then that helps A, with training. It helps remind your current staff on how to do something, and then you spend less time explaining how to do stuff. Okay, if you guys are not already connected with me, please feel free to reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. And I say LinkedIn specifically because we share a lot of helpful tips there on running your law firm. And we would love to have that interaction from you. If you would like to schedule to talk further, maybe you have some questions you don't want to ask on the platform here, you can feel free to scan that QR code and get on my calendar. It will not we will not be chatting until after the first of the year, but I am happy also to answer questions over email if you would like to ask them before then. And then I just want to open up for a couple minutes to see if you guys had any questions for us. And then also we would like to discuss what you would like to learn about in the future. We had a poll on LinkedIn previously regarding different topics for law firm owners, and we are interested to hear what you're interested in. This will help our webinars be helpful to you, and if you're wanting this information, I'm sure other law firm owners would love that information too. So if you have a suggestion on topics that you would like to learn more about, please put them in the chat. And we will also release on social media, kind of like we did before, that poll, so you guys can vote on those topics, and so we can provide the most information to you. Does anyone have any questions? I know it's a lot of information, and you guys are all like shy. No one's on camera. Everyone's muted. Am I talking to myself? Okay. Well, I hope everything was helpful. I'll stick around for questions. You can send me a chat directly. I don't know if you know how to do that in Zoom, but you can send me one directly without everyone seeing. You can email me. We can connect on LinkedIn or on my calendar. Short and sweet, a lot of information. We're happy to send out this information through email if you'd like, and then I'm sure you'll see it on our social media also. And I hope you guys can join us for future webinars. Our goal is to try to put one out once a month. We are go-givers. We want to provide the most value at no charge, give you the information. We know you are solo and small firms, and you just want to be able to work on your business at your own pace. We are here as consultants to help you get those projects done, get those processes in place. Okay, thank you, everyone.